And now for my favorite segment, Guns and Butter. That's what it's all about. Guns and butter. You know we got to talk about LeBron. Nobody has mastered the advice given in the movie Baby Boy better than him. He's officially a billionaire. Think about what I just said. Amazing feat. First active NBA player to ever do it. But we want to get into the details. How did he get to $1 billion? And I think we laugh and say he's only made $387 million on the court.
You had to do that strategically, right?
Before taxes.
Yeah.
And he was really strategic just to get to 387 because the way he was structuring his contracts and
deal,
looking at the TV contracts. He was the first one to say,
TV
contracts coming up when that salary cap's gonna bump here. Let me just take the 1-and-1.
Yeah.
Melo kept taking the big bags.
The big 7-year joint.
Yeah,
4-year, 5-year.
David Falk kept talking about that. You got to forecast the future. LeBron was on it. He was on it.
For sure.
So let's break down how LeBron got to $1 billion.
Okay.
So, I mean, at 387's a big chunk of it. We understand, how he got to that, being, he's always going to have max contracts. I think Bird Wright's kind of hurt him a few times, but he structured it so well with the TV deals that, it really didn't take a big hit. He's very strategic, very smart about that. And then you go to his other endeavors off the court. Nike is a big one. What Kanye say? Nike had to give Bron $1 billion so he won't run away.
Yeah. That's it.
And that was interesting because you don't see athletes moving shoes as much as they used to. Like we haven't figured out the MJ 2.0 and how to move units as an athlete. But I did read something that it's not necessarily how much you sell, but it is valuable to sneaker companies to have certain figures just for the culture of it all.
No, of course. Legacy-wise, they're going to make so much money.
Yeah. So it may not be LeBron selling his LeBron 18 or 19 shoe, but people are wearing Nike because of LeBron.
Yeah, for sure.
And here's my question to you I have been thinking about.
Let me think.
Will LeBron's presence have been felt as much without Nike? Because I'm on Nike heavy. You know how we are with the culture. But they're so amazing at telling a story of lifting up athletes. You see an athlete with a brand, and then you know about them.
Yeah.
Like, Naomi wasn't with Nike early on.
No, she wasn't.
And then she got on with Nike, and it was just like, boom.
Yeah,
she was just everywhere in front of you.
Yeah, I think Nike, like we said with Ye, they're tastemakers, bro. We speak on this on the conversation all the time, even when they took over the NBA jerseys.
Yep.
How they not only they literally changed the way we did stuff in certain instances where there's no such thing as a home jersey anymore. Like, they really set the tone.
Right.
Same way Nike did with Tiger. Like, this is who it is. And literally the whole world is like, bet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think what Nike's able to do, but at the same time, like, the risks they're willing to take to pump up their athletes, like, we're all witnesses. Like, King James, like how they're presenting him at the same level. Like, LeBron was 19 years old, 20 years old, sitting on a throne with a crown. Young black kid, early thought. Like, you understand what I'm saying? LeBron James, they're marketing everywhere. It's like what in '92 in the Olympics with Jordan. They're in Barcelona.
And Dan versus Dan, remember them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even know who them dudes was until that.
Yeah, but they had like the big Michael Jordan thing going all over. It's like, no, this ain't that. This is this. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And I think you look at certain people, but we don't want to bring up Steph, but sometimes we talk about when Steph dropped his shoe line or whatever, and he had the whole nation ready to see what it was, and it's like to take over, and to a certain extent, it was somewhat underwhelming in that sense. And I think Nike has a recipe or like the resources to really get you on more and more platforms.
I think they understand how precious it is.
Yeah.
Where it's not just about, we got some hot, let's just, they do that because with the Off-White, I felt like they didn't know what they had with Off-White.
Yeah.
And the collection was 10, and then it was so hot, they was like, all right, turn it to 30.
Yeah.
Now it's 100. Now it's 200, whatever.
Yeah.
Same with Travis Scott.
Yeah.
But they understand you can't miss.
Yeah.
Like, you drop one dud with a collab, that's it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, the Steph first drop was just, it couldn't keep up with the demand.
Yeah.
And then the second time around, it flooded it too much. It's almost as if there is. It might be helpful to you as a company to have a shortage. Mm-hmm. Put out enough, but let's not satisfy everybody. Like, let's satisfy 70% of the market.
I mean, that's how Jordan was.
Exactly.
At one point, it was like, all right, bro, the Jordan releases are so crazy due to the simple fact that they weren't mass produced. And then 2015 hits, you're like, all right, bro, you can wait a couple days and go to the store and copy a couple pair of J's now. But back then, it was camp out in the mall, 6 a.m., walk out the BAM.
But then Nike's smart enough to have a Travis Scott Jordan, the 6s, and it's like, all right, we only drop a certain amount. That's what keeps the buzz for the brand going.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So,
Ye was one of those, up until that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, back to LeBron, breaking it down, how he got to $1 billion. Let's talk about the Spring Hill Company. Spring Hill was the apartment complex that he grew up in.
Oh, okay.
Which is super dope. Super dope name and how they come up with it. I think it kind of started with More Than a Game, the documentary on his high school. That was super dope. And then they had one of the hottest songs. We just did the hottest, talking about the hottest rappers over the years. And then they had Drake, Kanye was on that song, I believe, right? Lil Wayne was on the track.
I mean, everybody, the hottest, Jay-Z.
That was
Jay-Z on
Jay
that?
wasn't on that
No,
one.
he wasn't on that.
Eminem,
that's it. There they go. Pack and State. Yeah. Same thing. Eminem, Jay, same thing.
And we're seeing content companies. You got Will Smith. You got Reese Witherspoon, where they have their own content. They have production companies, and it's just producing content. And
you talking about the white blind lady, Reese Witherspoon?
Oh, Reese is killing it.
Her daughter looked just like her too. Good for, I'm not saying nothing like crazy in that sense, but I always thought it was beautiful when mothers and daughters looking like. I feel like the dad is like, oh, that's good because it could have looked like me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
super dope.
My fault.
But he's got the crazy valuation with Spring Hill, and when you can, it's like Kevin Hart's doing it too, and The Rock's doing it too.
Kevin Hart was great at the Heartbeat. He made a lot of money.
They just did the same thing.
Yeah, all the tours and everything. Kevin Hart is printing money.
Yeah, because you're seeing, you talk about Live and the Saudi back tour, and it's almost like it's an endless fun. Yeah. When you have Apple, who streaming and content isn't their main money maker, but they're understanding how to build this conglomerate. Amazon. With Amazon Prime.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You know what I'm saying? Google is probably in the space as well. And they're seeing how hot Netflix was, and they're all jumping on there. Disney is doing it.
Yeah.
You got Paramount, you got Peacock, so you got all these people.
Right, yeah.
It's almost like a franchise.
It's an arms race too, because they're trying to hurry up and get the old
so they
TV,
they got to acquire all this stuff. So
yeah.
now it's like a hot time, perfect time, and before you know it, it's too late, and now it's not. It's like real estate at this point.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think LeBron's timing was just amazing. It was impeccable. They were very smart, and we'll get into Fenway Sports Group, which is a big part of that. And the Fenway Sports Group, they own the Bruins, they own the Boston Red Sox, and I think Fenway Stadium, I believe, is owned by them. And the LeBron's, he was in the Premier League, which team? Liverpool. And then he exchanged that stake for part ownership in Fenway Sports Group. And that one has flown under the radar. They just bought the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
And that one has kind of flown. LeBron owns a 1% stake, it says, in Fenway Sports Group. And I don't think people understand the value in having basically it's like a VC firm, and they do beta analytics on the best deals out there. So you got the smartest people looking at some of the best deals, and obviously, sports rights are some of the most valuable things right now. So owning a sports team, in itself is only going to keep going up with inflation, with advertising, with cost of things. It's almost like it pays for itself.
Yeah, especially if you get the average jersey, everything.
Exactly. Cricket is popping now. We got to get this cricket team. But LeBron's been very smart with his partnerships, and that's a big thing. Talk about Rihanna, and she's always done really smart deals. And knowing what you know and then identifying what you don't know, I think is a big part of the human experience in terms of your success. Yeah. And LeBron's done an amazing job to make sure if it's something that he feel like he should get into, he's finding the best in that field, bringing them along and they're building it up together because with LeBron, you're going to have access to everything like with Kanye, but you also want to make sure you got expertise in there with helping you build it, and he's just been doing an amazing job of growing out his partnerships. And I guess we can jump into one of his other things, which is one of your favorite cuisines, Blaze Pizza.
Oh yeah, that is hard. Yeah.
So he had a $15 million.
I didn't know that. There's like brown owners. I was like, damn, I'll be damn.
Yeah.
Like,
so
really?
I have been watching that really closely. Yeah. He had like a $15 million over a couple years with McDonald's. It was like a 4-year, $15 million deal on the table. But he turned it down and said, how about I just go get ownership? And we always talk about ownership and having equity versus the transaction. Sometimes the transaction is just worth it. We're talking about people's catalogs. We're talking about that on our Twitter Spaces session. And people, it's like the Live Golf thing, man. He sell my catalog for $100 million. I'm not making no more music.
Yeah.
Wayne did it, and I think Justin Timberlake
did it.
But LeBron's saying, let me not do this McDonald's thing. It's only a couple years. I can just find the right opportunity, and Blaze Pizza ended up being that opportunity, and they just been killing it, man. You seen things popping up everywhere.
Airports, everything.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. And I actually had it. I'm like, damn, this is solid.
Yeah, straight. Nah, they got a Portland airport, so I had it a couple times.
Real estate, I love seeing, I saw some of his real estate. We were just talking about Beverly Hills and Calabasas. Jay-Z 444. And he's got 2 spots in Beverly Hills.
What he say? Drake said him and Brownie buying a real estate like his back in Akron or whatever. And they really are, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Shout out to my cousin Terrence Lawson. He keep texting me, but that's my young cousin. He's got 300 properties in Springfield. And
he worth about what, 300,000? Buddy worth a good 400. Shout out Big T.
Yeah,
man.
but I love seeing us in real estate and properties like in places like that, and like you said, we said before, that's real generational wealth because that's something that's only going to go up. So, that's the bulk of it. He's got some other investments. He's in tech. He's got some stake. It's in Lyft, Tonal.
Yeah, Tonal. You use that at the crib.
Tonal, right? I use at the crib. I saw Tonal at the very beginning.
How long did it take to deliver?
Good question. During the pandemic, it might take some time.
Yeah,
right now you good.
That's like Peloton. It's like 3 months in there. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah, but it was the pandemic and sports. Everything in sports, everything in fitness. Everyone was active because they couldn't get outside, and they just had to get their mind off being the pandemic. So, it's ebbs and flows of the things.
I just need 2 30-pound dumbbells. If you got that at the crib, bro, let me get it, G. So do the arm curls and the shoulder prehab.
I am not an investor in Tonal, but I think it's a solid product. But LeBron's always doing things in tech, and we'll continue to see, because most cats, they don't stop at $1 billion. Because once you get to $1 billion, I think that's the hardest part. And then you get to $1 billion, it's not as hard to get to 10. The hardest part is getting the first one.
No, absolutely. But I think people don't understand, and it take money. You got to take money to make money at the end of the day. So ignorantly speaking, it's like, all right, bro, you throwing 100 here, but you're controlling. No, if you're at $1 billion, you're just not rich financially. You have influence in tons of other spaces, and you also can break through doors. Whereas almost I know monopolies aren't legal, but they seem like they're damn near legal. You understand what I'm saying? You can do anything. When we talked with Mike Rubin, he's like, all right, eventually you're gonna have to go through the narrative and see how you can change. Infiltrate the system and see how it can make it work for you if things aren't cooperating. And in other words, monopoly. You know what I mean? Anytime you're richer than you can be rich, bro, but when you hit billions and shit, it's like, man, you richer than a bitch. That's stupid, bro. So
and what I like the most is, man, he's enjoying it, man. He's got he had the Tiffany's paddock.
Hard.
You know what I mean? When he's posting on Instagram, you're looking at the driveway, he's doing, because I'm not a fan, and I don't want to go too long on this, but I'm trying to tell certain guys in the league, I'm like, fam, you can't afford that. I know how much you make. I know how much all of y'all make. You can't afford that. And I
kind of gauge it with you. So if I come back and buy something, I'm like, Dre, I'm finna get this. I just gotta look at your eyes and be like, you think? What you think? I'll be like, so, all right, bet. I'll just tone it down. Right.
I mean? But it's funny, I had a conversation.
When we had Richard Millie, whatever, I had to tell my man Logan, shout out Logan, all right, bro, Dre was over here. You and I got to go back here, or my birthday in 3 months. I'm going to come back and get this money. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I got to make a couple flips because I just bought a car. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. And I had a conversation with a coach, and I'm happy that I'm remembering this story now. To tell it, a coach was like, you know, I mean, y'all can buy all this stuff now. We were making this money back then. I'm like, nah, man, my favorite car I can't afford. And this is when I'm in the meat of my career. Like, I'm me. And he's like, what's your favorite car? I'm like, man, that Maybach is incredible. Shout out to Terrence Lawson. Terrence Lawson got a Maybach, right? So
okay.
I never had a Maybach. And he's like, why can't you afford the Maybach? I said, listen, man, in order for me to have a Maybach, your life should be set up a certain way. Like, we got to just stop having stuff to have it. Like, everything has to have a purpose.
The Maybach need the crib. I remember we talked. I said, bro, get a Rari. He said, bro, I ain't got a crib for a Rari. I'm like, damn, you right, because I'm at Mom Duke's crib dropping off my Rari. Like the Rari 400, Mom crib 3, and I'm like,
and I said, you need a driver.
Yeah.
And for me to have a driver, I'm moving quickly, so now I need a chopper. Like,
no, that's real.
I should be pulling up to the chopper, and I'm going from Oakland to Palo Alto to get some deals done, or you know, I'm going over there. I'm going on Sand Hill Road to get some deals done. You know what I mean? And I should have a 5-car garage, and because wifey got to have 2 or 3 cars. You know what I mean? Okay. Like everything.
She got 8 watches, and every time I'm like, God damn, Christine, he talking about making it.
Well, when you get things at retail versus market.
No, it's real. No, I'm not knocking it. Christina knows what she does.
No, because people pocket watching right now. You know, I'm going, you know.
Oh, my fault. No, Christina, you treat her like shit. She deserved better.